Edit that one out.
Oh, shit, guys.
Crap. Bezos was going to come and get us with his evil AI. He's listening to us. Drone creatures. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Denny from TeaDB.
And this is James from TeaDB, bringing you episode 325.
321.
Or 2. Or 3. Plus or minus
21.
7. So this tea is from Pat in Canada. So congrats to the Toronto Raptors, because they come from the same country as Pat, for beating the Golden State Warriors.
Good, Pat.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can keep Kawhi Leonard.
Way to go, buddy.
Yeah.
So
it was all you. So this is it's an older raw.
Yeah.
It's a famous recipe, 8653 iron cake, Xiaguan 2001. So it's 18 years old. So almost 20 years old.
It has almost no smell. A little bit. Hard smell.
Yeah.
It is definitely an iron cake. Thank you, Pat. We, of course, are kidding about the Raptors.
Yeah, although congrats to the Raptors.
Yeah. Smells like old tea. Cool.
Bag Sniffers.
I was in a band called Bag Sniffers.
Split off of TeaDB.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to go there. There's probably some weird
Smell that.
group of people who are into that.
That's
Wow.
true. We don't want to offend anyone
God.
here. Yeah, how would you describe that smell?
Man, just like
It's like something really...
gasoline-y, petroleum, and then smoky, and then like vegetal somehow.
Yeah.
You know, little graphite pencil shaving stuff going on too.
And something very bright about it too, in
For
like
sure.
a weird way.
Yeah, very powerful. Yeah, exciting. These teas are so interesting to try because some of them can be old but can taste younger or older. Some of these clearly are just super old and they taste old and interesting and different.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a strange magic with taking 18 years to age a tea and then brewing it up.
Right. And these iron cakes sort of have an interesting story, is they were like originally made, and this is my understanding of it, so please do correct me if I'm wrong. They're originally made in like the 50s and 60s, and people found that they were like really slow to age, so they were like, let's like not do that again. So they sort of went out of style.
Right.
And then eventually people found that, hey, actually,
these taste really good.
These actually, you wait another little while, and they taste very good. So they sort of came back. I don't know, 80s, something like that.
Right.
You see some more iron cakes.
Yeah.
And Xiaguan is known for them. It should make it so this tea isn't like, even if it's had pretty intense storage, it wouldn't be full dank.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Tart. Very tart. Very tomatoey. Very clean. And like pretty light still. Very tart. I'm enjoying it.
Some of that like menthol. I almost feel like sort of in that category. There's a really peculiar brightness to this tea that like is also like kind of, I'm not sure if it's storage, I don't know if it's the tea character. I found it in a few other teas, but it's not at all common, so I'm very curious how Denny would describe it.
Yeah. The cup smells a little smoky.
Almost like a wood starburst or something. I'm not even sure.
Wow. Wood flavored Starburst.
Yeah. It's whiskey starburst.
Dude, that sounds like the most TeaDB description I've ever heard in my life. It's good. A little juicy, clean.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was going to say sweet. A little tart. I get that sort of tomato vine thing going on in a good way.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Cheers. This one's very woody for me. A little more bitter.
Yeah. It has a sort of mouth-watering kind of sweet, tart, salty, just mouth-watering thing going on.
How would you describe the tartness? Is it sort of like tomato tartness, or is it more like vinegar?
Yeah, it definitely has, a little bit, a splash of like almost, that sort of just tomato tartness, basically, where if you tasted sort of like the liquidy aspect of the inside of a tomato, like where the seeds are, it's almost like a sweet tart juice that's vegetal. Like it has that sort of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. So sort of like a cherry tomato.
Yeah. It's hydrating, and yet very robust. It tastes aged, certainly. So I mean, just to put that on the table, like at the very least, we can tell clearly this is an aged tea. Probably is aged. It tastes a little bit less aged than it is, maybe, but really smooth. This is not a kind of tea that I think would pass the mom test. This is not the kind of tea that I would ever brew a grandpa style. I mean, this is the kind of tea you sort of got to treat it right.
You might be able to brew this in the mountains, but it might also kind of be a little bit of a waste too, just because it's I don't know. I like the sort of burly nature to this, and I think it could be well suited to that environment, but maybe a little tricky to brew.
So good, so unique. This is not passing the mom test, but it's really tasty. Yeah, it's very juicy. It almost tastes fruity, but it's clearly not fruity.
The fruity nature is interesting.
Yeah,
it's like
really nice residual mouthfeel and flavor. More of a high flavors in my opinion. I think. Just very juicy. I'm kind of continue to taste it.
Yeah, definitely tastes like Pu'erh too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that woody base, all Pu'erh. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, I mean, getting a little bit less of the sort of sourness. Not sour, tartness. Sour sort of describes it as being off, but tart meaning like it's intentionally a little bit bright in that way. And smooth, woody, tasting the age. Very interesting. Very lively tea complemented by deep, old flavors. Really nice.
Yeah. How much of this would you attribute to storage, or is that sort of an impossible question?
If I had to be blind, I would say this is aged. This is raw Pu'erh.
Right.
I can tell you about the flavor notes. Could I tell you how long it was stored or where? Or, I mean, maybe I might say, oh, it's a little sour. Maybe it was a little bit wetter stored. But even then, like, no, not really. It tastes clean. So I'd say no. If I had to be honest with everybody, probably couldn't tell.
I think if I brewed it a little bit lighter too, I think the sort of tart notes that you're describing, I think they'd be a little bit lessened. But we'd have a little bit less full body and a little less intense in all regards.
Yeah, I mean, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that just like sprig of, I'm making an analogy here, a sprig of lemon zest that you taste on a specific bite. You're eating all the flavors, and then just like a little hint of something that just livens up, brightens up the food.
A little bit of acid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Don't worry about that. But yeah, no. Really good, really nice. Bright, lively, engaging. Hasn't been the most dynamic yet insofar as it's like really dramatically changing a lot.
Considering that like I brewed the 4 steeps all pretty dramatically different, it is pretty constant. I agree with that.
Now I'm gonna just peek in under the hood here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in terms of color, to your point, fairly homogeneous. Looks like there's a fair amount of uniformity in the oxidation of the leaves.
It doesn't look like anything special at all from the leaves. It's like kind of as you would expect, sort of chopped up.
Smells old.
Yeah. Yeah, the aroma and the taste is very distinct. Yeah. So this tea, how long would you expect it to brew out for?
You know, honestly, a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much flavor going on. I think some of the sort of like the height of it will die off a little bit. It'll get a little bit watered down. But no, I think this would go for quite a bit of time. You know, I think these are the kind of teas, though, just to be clear with the audience, that, in my opinion at least, you want to brew them strong. You want to brew them appropriately strong up front. You don't want to sort of like try to elongate the tea as much as you can. You really want to make it right.
Right.
And then, you know, if it's that super expensive, you know, one, you know, sample that you had, then come back to it the next day. Come back to it 2 hours later. You'll have refreshed your palate a little bit, and you'll still be able to approach the tea and get some of what's going on.
Right. Yeah, you don't need to drink it all in one go, especially if you're solo drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this could be quite strong. We'll see how it is.
It looks beautiful. Yeah, the liqueur is interesting, too. I mean, this is one of the identifiers for folks out there, I think, who are going to find an older tea, is you'll notice that there's just a sort of orange and then red color that comes with the age.
Right.
So,
and this fits firmly into sort of that. It's like a little bit beyond sort of like semi-aged. It's starting to get into a deeper, darker color.
So we're sitting here chatting about the tea. I'm still tasting it pretty strongly. In terms of residual flavors and staying power, James, what do you think?
Quite good. I'd say like the back of my mouth is all sweet, so none of those, like, when you drink the tea, there's some tartness. Maybe there's even a little bit of bitterness there as well. Those flavors, as you pay attention to the aftertaste, go away, and you're dominated with sort of sweeter fillings in the mouth. So, like, the lasting flavors, it's all good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you folks out there love the sweet tartness of a cherry, this is that tea. If you want something that's robust, strong, but also a little bit has some high notes and stuff, I think this is a great tea for you.
Right. And we were talking about like what teas would be good for the people that really like alcohol, and I think stuff like this could fit. It's strong, and it's interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's engaging. I mean, if you're a whiskey drinker and you like sort of the gamut of teas, aged raw is a great place to dive into, certainly. And you can guilt-free drink before 11 a.m.
Yeah. In fact, you might feel guilty drinking this after 11 p.m. In fact, I would not recommend that.
Oh my god, I don't think I could do this. Yeah, I'd say 3. Something that's powerful.
So for you, I mean, we've had 3 teas in this session. Is this one the strongest?
Yes. And now it's getting like sweet.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's starting to soften and smooth out just a little bit.
Exactly. So yes, it's strong. The flavors are strong. Beauty of this tea is that now it's getting even sweeter, and there is that sort of dynamic change going on. This tea is going to last, 10 steepings, and be
easily.
Yeah, and be strong at that point, and still interesting.
Yeah, and to Denny's earlier point, it's like maybe I don't want to drink. You could probably push this even past 10. Maybe I don't want to drink all of that in one day.
Right.
I could stop at 3 or 4 p.m. and come back to it tomorrow morning, and that would be totally okay.
And for folks who do want to do that, there's a couple of things you can do. If you leave the tea in the gaiwan, it's going to get really, really just going to stay soaked. You can spread it out and just kind of like leave it on your tea tray if it's ventilated, and that will help it dry out, and you won't get nearly as much that sort of like really intense initial cup. Or you can even just rinse it again really quickly and then move forward. So that's typically what I will do, is just give it a short... Just basically just get the water out of it and then brew it normally.
Yeah, and it depends how long you left it. If it's just for like 4 hours, then who cares?
Right.
I mean, but if you are talking about a longer amount of time, then you might choose to do something like that. Yeah.
It's so trippy to have something taste like pencil shavings and tomato vines and stuff, and have it taste so sweet and juicy. And
You know how to sell this tea, man.
flavorful.
The
Well,
pencil
so-
shaving, tomato vine, holy trinity.
And then does like the triangle math thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, plenty of people are out there who are like, wow, that sounds so weird and intriguing, and you know, they're our family. So if that sounds weird and intriguing, give this video a thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want something that's a little bit more classic and typical, we're doing a lot of those teas too. We have plenty of white teas, lots of black teas.
Lots of oolongs.
Lots of oolong teas.
Yeah.
So plenty of variety at TeaDB certainly, but I think these sorts of teas have a little special place on the show's heart because they're just unique, they're interesting. There's a little bit more patience involved, let's be real. And that's kind of a factor. Just kind of a fun treat.
Kind of got to seek them out a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are like the alpha packs on Magic cards.
Yeah. Don't want any beta packs. Or I don't remember what the other ones are
Anyway,
called.
yeah. So, is this obtainable, James?
Man, you could Google for this again.
Yeah,
2001
Yeah, 8653 recipe.
iron.
Okay.
But I have found that the 2004, which I think might be a little easier to find, is obtainable. I think that's like an FT version or something like that. So you can definitely find the recipe. I don't know if you can find this exact same version. You'd have to Google around a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think if you dig beneath the surface, you could find something or other.
If you guys like the video, give a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content like this.
Yeah.
TeaDB.org for plenty of other articles, videos, and the like. TeaDB.org@gmail.com to get in touch.
Yeah, and thank you to Pat and our Canadian friends.
Thanks, y'all. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Cheers.